following adventure took place over 3 years ago, so join me on the Shropshire Big One. The day starts nice and early. I set off from Berkshire and head towards the market town of Church Stretton in Shropshire. It turned out to be one hell of a journey through the Cotswolds and up through into the Wye Valley. I'm Rich, by the way, and when I'm not rambling on about cars, I'm out in the great outdoors. And this is my mate Leigh. Turns out he knows a thing or two about outdoor adventure, so he's a perfect guy to embark on a 2-day epic hike in Shropshire Hills. So the plan was to meet nice and early in Church Stretton, where we'd then head up the first peak, over the top, down into the valley, and then up over the Long Mynd, which is a National Trust landscape, back down into the valley, very remote part of Shropshire, up into the Stiperstones, and then down into the village of Haberley for our accommodation. So the first big peak, Caer Caradoc, we didn't know how to pronounce it at the time, had some incredible views. You can see why this was the location for an ancient hill fort. Reaching over 460 metres, we managed to scale the top in no time.
It does actually, yeah. I think because, you know, when you see it as a whole, it doesn't look as dramatic or lengthy, because you see in 30 odd miles in one.
As we descended, our initial plan was to scale the second peak in the distance, called the Leigh. However, it was quite warm and we figured we got plenty of miles to get in for the rest of the day. So we decided, turns out wisely, to avoid the second peak and head straight down into the valley.
Came out of nowhere.
Train spotter's dream.
That's a B429C, isn't it? Yeah.
Then we began the long ascent up into the Long Mynd. It was getting really hot by now, so this was tough. The Long Mynd is a vast plateau, and at its heart lies the Carding Mill Valley, favourites with mountain bikers and hikers alike. We were heading for the viewpoint of Polebank at the top for a spot of lunch. By this point, we'd done about 9 miles, but we knew we still had one big climb to go and another 10 miles at least before we reached our evening accommodation, so we had to get a bit of a push on. However, when you come across somewhere like the next place, you've just got to stop. The final big ascent of the day was up the jagged Stiperstones, rising to over 536 metres with some impressive views. The devil's chair that sits atop is said to have been used by the devil himself. The local superstition claims that if you dare to sit in it, a thunderstorm is going to follow immediately. However, no such luck for us today.
Yeah, that looks a bit far.
As we descend down from Stiperstones, we've done about 16 miles by now, so we're properly feeling it. As the evening draws in, there's a sort of uneasy feeling in the air as we stumble upon these 19th century old cottages. Of course, we had to have a little explore.
They're peaceful, isn't it?
Yeah. It's obviously well looked after.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I wonder if they got a bar in here.
I hope so.
Maybe they got a, I was going to say paediatrician, but that's not right, is it? What's is it? I thought that's a child doctor, isn't it? Is it a child doctor or for your feet? Oh, yeah.
I mean, imagine you saw like a white face in the back. This will do nicely. Talk about a gap in the door.
What a spot, eh?
The chair in there and that's it. The old kettle. We'll have the old place to ourselves, like the site, but
Oh,
I
sure.
can't see that happening today on a beautiful day like today on a Saturday.
Surely people have just like rocked up, haven't they, that same day?
Yeah,
I don't know, you might be surprised, but
might be, yeah.
maybe the Skittles is a bigger draw than we thought.
At this point, having not seen anyone for a long time, Shropshire was starting to feel surprisingly remote. Not exactly the wilderness. There were farms, tracks, old buildings, but just very few people. And occasionally, things we weren't expecting to find.
It's had a roll, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Shit, there's no one in it. No. There's your thumbnail.
But finally, after nearly 20 miles and about 3,400 feet of elevation, we reached our destination, the village of Haberley. However, someone had lost something on the way. Unlucky Leigh. We of course needed refreshment, so the Mitten Arms, where we had maybe just a couple of pints. And some fine dining. We woke nice and early on day 2, feeling a bit more refreshed. The plan was to leave Haberley, heading up into the forest, skirting round the hills into the village of Snailbeach. The plan was then to make another ascent back up into the Long Mynd. We still had to cover about 15 miles today, as well as having to navigate the long journey home in the car. So the plan was to head over the Long Mynd, down the valley, back to Church Stretton.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Not even 8 o'clock yet.
Had a nice bit of crow.
Yeah, cool.
And I've got to be really honest with you. At this point, I'm feeling that life is pretty good. Then we stumble upon something which we weren't expecting. Snailbeach Mine seemed to appear from nowhere. Apparently, once one of Britain's leading lead mines, and it's believed there was even mining back here back in the Roman times. But by the 19th century, this was a major industrial operation, employed around 500 men at its peak. It's hard to imagine this quiet place once filled with hundreds of miners, machinery and industry, especially as somehow, again, we had the whole place to ourselves. They found some artefacts from the 17th century.
Yeah, I think it's where the miners used to, the milkman used to come deliver it down the shaft.
And they got orange juice as well, didn't they?
I think they had orange juice and
Yeah.
grapefruit juice.
Yeah. Coconut milk as well.
Water,
Coconut water, that's it.
Some old habits die hard. Spotting old sheds in prime locations like this.
Yeah.
Possibly even like the workers' places. And...
It's like they've had flooding, that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be, isn't it?
That's the one as well, maybe it was a pub.
It could be, yeah. And it looks sort of that.
Pub, didn't it?
Or an inn or something. Bus stop.
Oh yeah.
It just seems quite weird seeing civilization, isn't it? Oh, wow. These are great places, isn't it? I guess we continue along here, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Massive that place.
Yeah, it is. That was Snailbeach.
Tiny.
Well,
really?
there's no beach, but there's probably snails.
It's really snail, yeah.
Snailbeach. Very pretty though.
Coming out of Snailbeach on another hot day, we knew we had about 2 more big climbs to go, the first one at about 400 metres. The final descent of the day back up to the Long Mynd would be our crossover point from yesterday. And at this point, the feet were hurting, and hurting bad.
I mean, look, it's actually 60-degree views. Stunning.
Mount Vesuvius.
Back on the plateau of the Long Mynd, we're starting to see more and more people, signs that we're heading back into civilization.
Here it is. Yeah.
With the noise of the water and all the crowds, it gave us a real sense of actually how secluded it had felt the last few days.
It's quite a climb.
So after 30 odd miles, 2 days, some fairly unhappy feet, we were done. Leigh had actually made a vlog about this trip at the time, and watching it back, his film really captures what it was like to be there. However, mine's slightly different. This is looking back and all the things that I remember. Not just Caer Caradoc, the Stiperstones, but the smaller things. The empty tracks, finding the mine, a pint with a pub that we'd not planned for, the sleeping bag incident, being absolutely shattered, and having hours to talk to each other. We planned the weekend carefully, but we changed the route. We didn't always know exactly what we'd found around the next corner. For the 2 days, pretty much all that mattered was that, finding our way. Walk, eat, find the next place, talk, keep going. There's something quite freeing about making your world that small. I don't think I realised I needed it when we set off, but I do now. Which is why we're going to do it all over again.